Better presents The Amateur's Edge with Jerrian Sanders, Randy Wade, and A.D. Roberts.
Good morning. We got a little phone. Okay. Good morning and welcome to The Amateur's Edge. This is your host, Jerrian Sanders. Got a special guest with me today. Cleo's not here, Jamal's not here, but we got RJ Sanders sitting in for those two. How you feeling today, man?
Sanders and Saunders. Kind of like it.
I kind of like it a lot, to be honest with you, man.
Show idea, AD?
What you think? So we automatically firing the other two. They out.
No, I can't do my guy Cleo like that.
You sure?
I can't. Okay.
Okay.
He did a great job yesterday on XL Primetime. That has been my man for a while now. So
he showed up for them, but not for me.
That's your man, though. I don't know.
So I'm gonna take that personal.
that's your man's.
Good deal. We also have a special guest or two today. Christian Miller, the highly regarded track star from Creekside High School, Olympic hopeful. Him and his father are here to talk a little bit about his journey and his story. So some great things coming on today. And we talk a little bit more about Olympic snubs. Jaylen Brown.
Mm-hmm.
Not being picked by Team USA to make the basketball team. How you feel about that?
Well, to give the full story, so Kawhi Leonard, which I think his career is really going to have to be studied after he retires, elects to walk out of Team USA due to his injury, and he's still recovering. They said it's a better idea for him to get ready for the season with the LA Clippers as they're moving into a new arena next year. So the question was, who's going to be his replacement? There were probably a lot of people who thought Jaylen Brown would be a guy that would step in, the $300 million man, NBA Finals MVP of this past NBA Finals. They go with his teammate, Derek White. In my opinion, I believe that when you have a team full of stars such as this, and this is one of the deepest Team USA rosters that we've seen in quite a while.
Right.
I don't know if a guy like Jaylen Brown would have been okay with not closing out games, not playing an extended amount of minutes, because you do have guys like LeBron James, Kevin Durant, Steph Curry, who I believe are always going to be the three guys that are going to be on the floor closing out the game. If Jaylen Brown wasn't one of those guys, does he start throwing out his accolades? And does he say, those accolades alone, I deserve to be on the floor?
Right.
I don't know if USA is saying they wanted the headache. I think there are more things to that than just he's a guy that's not going to want to not play a lot of minutes. But I do believe they said a guy like Derek White, who plays defense, who's not going to care whether or not he's playing the entire game or just a single stretch of a game, we'd rather take that guy and not have the headache that comes with potentially a guy that's going to name out his accolades.
So you don't see Jaylen and Kawhi being the same guy? Don't they have the same accolades?
They do, but I don't feel a guy like Kawhi Leonard's going to throw his accolades out there. I think a guy like Kawhi Leonard may have said, listen, I'm going to be a defensive pest on the defensive side of the ball.
Right.
Coach K always tells a story about Kobe Bryant when Kobe was undoubtedly, in my mind, the best player in the NBA in 2008. He says, I just want to set the tone on the defensive end. We all understand what Kobe could do offensively, and he could get a ball, probably beat a team on his own or get close to it. We have seen that multiple NBA seasons. Right. But he said, I want to be the focal point for this team defensively. Does a guy like Jaylen Brown say that? I think Kawhi Leonard would have said that more than a Jaylen Brown, where Jaylen Brown saying, I have to be solely a defender, knock down wide open shots. Look, Carmelo Anthony was a guy who didn't close out a couple of games for Team USA in 2008.
Right.
Dwayne Wade was coming off the bench as a sixth man in 2008. There's going to have to be some guys like let's just say Anthony Edwards, Anthony Davis, Joel Embiid, Bam Adebayo. There's going to be somebody who's going to get their feelings hurt.
Anthony.
And if it is Anthony Davis, I think he should be fine with that. When you have a team that also includes Joel Embiid, Bam Adebayo, two of the better younger centers that are in the league, Anthony Davis should say, listen, I want to win more than putting up a double-double per game and getting player of the entire Olympic tournament.
Right.
Maybe that's not his style. Maybe that's not Jaylen Brown's style. We haven't seen it yet. And I understand there were a lot of questions for him during the NBA season of whether or not he should be paid $300 million. Should he and Jason Tatum be teammates on the same squad? They showed that. They showed that they could do it. They won an NBA championship. That disgusts me as a Lakers fan. But
sure.
When you're going on Team USA, which, yes, is one of the more glorified all-star teams, would he have been fine with just sitting out? I don't know. I don't have the answer.
Well, I mean, I love your optimism, first of all.
Right.
But me and my conspiracy theory mind, I'm going with the fact that when all that stuff went on with Kyrie Irving, Jaylen Brown was the only one who backed him.
Yeah.
And not only did he make those people, the powers that be, mad, he made Nike mad and a lot of other powerful people.
Yeah.
And for me, I'm thinking this is a slap on the wrist, and this is to set an example for these guys that when you do talk out of turn and you say the wrong things, here's the consequence to your actions.
It very well could.
Because there's no reason in the world for that man not to be on Team USA, regardless of, again, Finals MVP, Eastern Conference MVP. I mean, arguably top 5 player in the NBA right now. There's absolutely no reason that man should be on this team right now, and it's hard, and you know, it kind of makes me mad for all those guys who consider themselves to be activists to not stand up and say something about this. Right. It kind of bothers me, but you know, that's a whole nother story for a whole nother day. But let's pay some bills. This segment was brought to you by Premier Physical Therapy. Your wellness journey begins at Premier Physical Therapy and Rehabilitation, the gold standard in orthopedic and sports rehab for adults and adolescents alike. Dial 904-996-6922 or visit premierptjax.com today for the premier experience. You're listening to The Amateur's Edge on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
Weekends were made for sports, and I'll tell you my take on this weekend's best options. Pick it here. Watch for Weekend with Dan on YouTube and Facebook. Weekend with Dan is brought to you by Stone Core. We do outdoors better.
Your wellness journey begins at Premier Physical Therapy and Rehabilitation, the gold standard in orthopedic and sports rehab for adults and adolescents alike. Dial 904-996-6922 or visit premierptjax.com today. Experience the premier difference and take your first step towards a healthier, stronger you. Premier Physical Therapy, where Jacksonville comes to heal. premierptjax.com.
Men, if you're suffering from erectile dysfunction or PE, Prime Men's Medical Center will get your sex life back in just one visit. Their painless, breakthrough medical treatments eliminate ED and PE. Here's a specialist in men's health.
I'm Dr. Simovitz. Have Viagra or Cialis let you down? Prime Men's Medical Center offers the most effective treatments that eliminate ED and PE, with men lasting longer than ever. 98% of patients see instant results on their first visit.
Prime Men's Medical Center's breakthrough treatments will restore your sex life regardless of age or medical history. Your consultation and first treatment are free. Plus, you'll see instant results in the office. Plus, qualified patients will have their testosterone checked free. Call 904-902-8222. 904-902-8222. To regain your sex life in just one visit, call now. 904-902-8222.
What makes a Honda certified pre-owned vehicle so special? 182-point inspection, 24/7 roadside assistance, first-year free oil changes, and a 7-year, 100,000-mile warranty for carefree driving backed by American Honda. Visit your local Honda dealer today.
This is it. Shop the Lowe's Closeout event to get up to 70% off select major appliances for your home. Plus, get up to 60% off select patio furniture and accessories for your outdoor spaces. So hurry into your local store today, because these deals are too good to last. Shop them now before they're gone, because Lowe's knows savings. Lowe's knows home improvement. Valid through 8/7 while supplies last. Selection varies by location.
This is Frank Frangie. Join Dan Hickett and me for All Things Gators, our podcast presented by Southeast Orthopedic Specialists, with new episodes every Monday. Subscribe and listen by searching for 1010XL Florida Gators Podcast on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, or TuneIn.
Hey folks, Curtis Dvorak here. Are you a golfer, a pickleball player, or a concert lover? Well, if you said yes to any of those, join me for the first ever Patriot Games on Saturday, September 21st at the Yards in Ponte Vedra. All proceeds benefit Operation New Uniform, which is a transition training program for service members, veterans, and military spouses. For more information, visit onuvets.org. That's onuvets.org. Hope to see you there.
Bolt City Heating and Air is here to keep you cool this summer. Anytime, any day, whenever you need fast, reliable air conditioning service. Their friendly technicians have fully stocked work vans, so they can get your AC done on-site the same day. Rely on a family-owned Jacksonville-grown company this summer to keep your home cooling system working smarter, not harder. Experience the bold difference. Visit BoldCityAC.com to schedule your service appointment. BoldCityAC.com.
The hottest trend in casual dining has expanded in Jacksonville with its 5th location off 103rd. The Flame Broiler serves up protein-packed rice bowls. It's fast, healthy, and affordable. Order online at flamebroilerusa.com or visit any of our 5 locations. Flame Broiler, simply healthy.
I'm Justin Nornduff, creator of DVS, a medically backed pitching development program designed to develop young throwers' arms safely. We are excited to be launching our Florida Development Center at B3 Better in Jacksonville. To celebrate DVS, we are offering a free virtual coaches clinic and also giving away 20 free team DVS and athletic assessments at B3 Better. To register for the clinic and your team's chance to win, go to b3better.com/DVS and secure your spot today.
1010XL is presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. This is the Amateur's Edge, brought to you by B3 Better on 1010XL.
And we're back. Welcome back to the Amateur's Edge. This is your host, Jerrian Sanders, and my surprise guest host, RJ Saunders, here today, man. You doing good again?
Yeah, man, doing well. How are you?
Good.
Yes, sir.
So we have a special guest today. We have Christian Miller and his father, Griffin Miller, today. How you guys doing today, man?
What's up? We're doing good.
Doing well.
Good. So for you guys who don't know, Christian is the Gatorade National Track and Field Athlete of the Year. He has the world record in under 18 for the 100-meter dash at an astounding 9.93. What RJ runs his 40-yard dash in.
Maybe. I was going to say that's how fast I'll probably eat food.
Christian, as a junior, was the state champion in the 100-meter dash and the 200-meter dash, and he finished 5th place in the Olympic trials. Huge accomplishments, man. So want to welcome him and his father to the show today and talk a little bit about that journey, man. So you guys just got back from L.A., man. How y'all feeling? A little jet lag?
A little bit.
Just a little bit?
That whole day just flying from one state to the other. I think our worst flight was going to Houston.
Really?
So we almost had to, I think it was like a straight path, but once there was like a storm, we had to do almost like a loop around the whole storm, over the water. So
it started storming while y'all were in the air? Boy, I hate that, boy. I already hate turbulence. When that turbulence comes, boy, I be saying all kind of prayers. I turn Catholic and all, Hail Marys. I hate turbulence.
Now, God, you know my heart.
So you just came back from the ESPYs?
Yes.
So did you get to meet anybody cool? Like anybody you always wanted to meet, or who would you see?
I say, I met a couple of good people. I saw a lot of people there too, mostly football players. Like Lamar Jackson was there, Cam Newton was there. Let's see. I know for NCAA, for basketball, Paige, what's her last name?
Bukers?
Yeah, Bukers.
Yeah.
It's her last name, but yeah, she was there too. Livy Dunn was there. I say, who else?
Who are you the most starstruck by? Where you're just like, wait a minute, I can't believe I'm seeing this person.
I probably said Lamar.
Really?
Yeah, because he kind of just had walked in, and cause when we walked through, we had to walk on this little red carpet, so we're all walking through, and then we see a swarm of media people that go by us, and so we turn around as Lamar's just walking down, and so I always see him on TV,
right.
See him playing 24/7, so see him in person, that was pretty crazy.
Cool. Dad, how about you? Anybody you were starstruck by, or anybody?
I'd probably say the same thing with him. Lamar Jackson, a couple of others, Serena Williams.
Yes,
just to see those guys up close. I mean, it was just a crazy experience, as he mentioned, walking on the red carpet. even though we know we're nobodies, we're not important. At least for a brief moment, you feel like you're a star. So
Right,
it was
right.
great experience.
Right. Cool. Well, share with us a little bit about your track background, man. How'd you get started, and how long have you been running track?
So I started when I was 8 years old, and it was kind of one of those things where as kids you follow the same little group,
right?
Going back and back from sport just because you play it, I want to play it too. So I go over to track and I just start up as a little kid, and looking back, I really don't know how I kept with it because I'm like an 8-year-old kid going out and running my 400 in like a minute and 30.
Right.
Just out there, just trying to run in a circle. And I run in like a minute and 30. I'm laying on the floor, and then the coach walks over and just taps my shoulder and said, "We got to go do it again." So, as a kid, I can't see how I stuck with it, but I had this strong love for it. Even though from how I was placed, I definitely wasn't the fastest when I was little. So I had to kind of build up to that point. But I still had this love for it, and I kind of just stuck with it. And so exactly 10 years later now, I'm still doing it.
Did you play any other sports growing up?
Yes, I play football, and I play basketball as well, and lacrosse.
So when did you make the decision to specialize in just track?
I say I started doing basketball and lacrosse at a young age, but football I kind of stuck with all the way up until my sophomore year. And then once I got to my sophomore year, after when I won my first state championship, that was when I decided to focus on track full time.
So you won state as a sophomore?
Yes.
In what event?
200.
The 200? Oh, sweet.
What's the best piece of advice that somebody's given you, during your time in which you're doing track, whether it be from your dad or somebody else that you've taken with you throughout your time doing track, where you said, I've kind of held this in, and I keep adding it to everything in which I do when it comes to the game of track?
I say one of the biggest things for my journey in general was someone told me to never compare yourself to others. And then later I found a good quote, which was, "Comparison is a thief of joy." So that kind of stuck with me because when I was little and growing up, I was never the fastest. I was never the one always winning every single track meet. So it was easy for me to look at them and just think in my head, man, I wish I could be running as fast as they were or winning what they were winning. But I knew that God had us all on our own paths, and so I just had to trust that He had something great for me. So I didn't compare myself and try to be the best that I could be, and that's gotten me to where I am now.
And I must say, man, adopting that mindset is extremely important, especially as you ascend to that next level, because that next level is a beast. And I think you know that because you're already competing at that next level, right? And so, like, when you stepping on the track and field against these guys who you watched growing up, what's going on in your mind?
Going on my mind is I'm just trying to keep the same mindset as I would keep in a normal track meet. I know it's hard, definitely at the Olympic trials, when you're standing at the line and you have everybody walking up and they're going world champion 2022, 2023, Olympic qualifier, Olympic medalist. So when you're hearing all that and, you're just an 18-year-old kid out there just competing against some of the world's best, it's easy to get in your head and it's easy to start overthinking while you're out there. But I just remember that, God always brings me to where He wants me to be. And so knowing that He brought me out to that track meet and He brought me out to the same line as them and lining up in the same race, going off to the same gun, I know that He has something planned for me in that race. So I just got to go out and execute like I'm just racing anybody else.
That's huge, man.
Was it ever a thought in your mind at first when you went out for track that the Olympics is something that I want to try out for or something that I want to go do? I mean, there are a lot of guys that say, I'm great at track at the high school level. I may want to go D1, D2, D3, but you say, listen, we're going to take this all the way, and we're trying to get to the Olympics here. Kind of, was that always a thought process, or was it just something as you kind of got better and better in your journey where you said, let's try it?
I said, that was always a dream of mine as a kid. When I would watch the Olympics, I would see all the Olympic bets. When Usain Bolt was still running, so I would be watching the Olympics, and I would always, as a kid, I would always have the old, I want to be in the Olympics one day. And then as I started getting older and started getting faster, I say after my junior years, when we kind of had turned my dream into like a reality, and we were saying, okay, we're gonna go we're gonna try to qualify for the Olympic trials. We're gonna try to see what we can do out there. So I say it's always been a dream, but I don't think I really took that dream fully serious until my junior year.
Now, did you, as a father, is he coming to you saying this is what I want to do, make the Olympic trials? Because all I can think about is my father when I'm saying at 6'1". The NBA is something that I want to do, and it hasn't hit me until now where he said, "Listen, if you're saying the NBA is where you want to go, I'm trying to build a rocket for you to get to that moon." What's the conversation like when he's coming to you, and what's going through your thought process as a dad if he's saying, "Okay, Olympics, we have to do everything we can to get him here"? Then if that's his overall goal.
Well, I think every kid, their dream is to always, with any sport that they're doing, they want to be able to do it on the highest level.
Mhm.
So I'm pretty sure he always imagined himself running the Olympics. Probably not at 18.
Right.
So that's the thing that's been crazy for us. As we were watching this thing unfold, we're just kind of, his coach and I, his mom, we're looking at this thing, we're like, man. This is amazing. I mean, I don't think people realize, like, he has run sub 10 4 times, and he's only 18 years old.
No, yeah.
I mean, for something like that, I mean, that's God.
Right.
Because that's it's not humanly possible. That's so, as a parent, we're, our expectation this year was like, okay, we just want you to do better than you did the prior year, and we'll see where this goes. We see where this will take us. And for him to do what he did, and at the rate that he's doing it, you just kind of sit back, and watch it because you're amazed.
It is amazing. And so talk a little bit more about your support system, Christian. You've been blessed, and I read a book a long time ago, and I think it's a great book for all athletes to read called Talent Code, and it talks about some of the outliers, and it talks about just good luck in general too, right? And one of the things we both have the honor and privilege of is the mentorship of Coach Ricky Fields. Talk a little bit about him and what he's meant to your development as an athlete.
Coach Ricky, he's coached me for now 10 years, and he's been my club coach ever since I was little. When I got to high school, he was my high school coach, and he's just been continue to be high school and club coach as me growing up. So I've grown up with him. I've coached with him. He's turned into more than just a coach. He's turned almost my second parent.
Right.
And so he's been helping me just get through how rough the journey is with track and just how sports are in general, because there's a lot of ups and downs, and he's helped me become a better track athlete and a better man in the process. So I thank him a lot, and I'm just grateful for him to be in my life and through this journey, and I'm hoping that he can continue to help with me and continue to help all the people coming up after me.
Right. And one of the things that, people look at, or ask questions about is your decision not to run in the state, right? And people who don't follow track and field or understand the sport don't understand the importance of rest, pacing your body, picking and choosing when to compete, and making those types of decisions. They're big decisions, right? And yeah, you'll go down in the record books for forever, right? But how would that have affected your ability to compete at a high level for the Olympic trials had you tried for the state championship?
Right. For the states, I already knew if I went out to states, there would have probably been numerous of state records that would have gone down that day. But I was just looking into the future and looking at what was greater than that.
Right.
Talking to Coach Ricky, he was just thinking about what was more important, a state title or an Olympic medal. So
right.
I just kind of remembered the goal and was trying to make sure all things that I did aligned with that goal, and just knowing that rest was very important for me, because you see all the pros having their whole indoor season and then getting the outdoor, going through all of their outdoor races and stuff. So people would think I'll do the same that they're doing. However, I'm still an 18-year-old kid.
Right.
So
right.
They can take a lot more. They can go through a lot more rounds, go through a lot more track meets than I can, because they've done this multiple times. They've been doing this for multiple years. A lot of them are in their mid to late 20s, and so they've been doing this for a while, and they know really good key points on everything. And so I'm new to it, so I had to make sure everything I did was bettering me to the best of my ability when I went against them, so I wouldn't be at a disadvantage.
Right. Take me back to when you broke your first record, and what was the thought process like? After you train. Now you're at the show of shows. where it's now time for you to, be in a race or whatever event that you're competing in, and you see, on the screen or they announce, he's broken a record. What's just kind of the thought process for you when that now is being digested in your mind of, holy crap, I just broke a record?
I say so. My first record that I broke that I would say the media actually, paid attention to was probably my U18 world record. And I was when I ran my 10:06, and that year I say my 100. I was kind of always going back and forth with it because there would be some races where I had like a bad start, but have a really good finish, or I'd have a really good start, or I'd have a bad finish. And so I was getting up to U20, and I was trying to really lock down to both parts of the race and have a good part. So I went through the prelims, ran 10-2. It felt smooth, so I knew that coming to the finals, there was something special planned for that. And actually, when I got to the finals, I ran my first 10. Surprisingly, that was probably one of the slowest first 10 that I ran all year. And so, but then after that, I came back from the next 90 meters and skyrocketed through and ended it with a 10:06. So after that, I say it was almost a surreal experience because, you're sitting there at the time I was 17 and I just won a U20 national championship. It qualified me for Worlds, and I had just broken a U18 record. And so I was just looking at it. I just sat there and just looked up at the time, and I was just amazed at what I had done. I just knew that was all God because I knew what I had put down this year. I know what I was running, how I was running all year, and what I ran then, that was completely different from how I ran the entire year. It was just something special that I put down. I knew that was just God working with me. So I say it was a pretty unreal experience for me.
When you crossed that finish line, did you feel like, man, I was riding?
I did, because the guy that I was next to, and it was Tyler, he got out like a rocket. And in the 90 meters after I had realized how my start was, I was able to catch him and almost pass him a little bit. And I just felt like I was just flying down the track, and I was almost floating.
Right.
So just to get through there, I was just amazed at how fast I run. So
yeah. Dad, take us through it. How did you feel when you heard your son's name being called as a world record holder?
Just to kind of echo what he said, I mean, it was just amazing. Like, we did not we knew what his fastest time was that whole year, and we were in the stands. We were just wanting him to win. We were just rooting for him to win. But then when he came across the line and we saw the time, we were like, whoa,
right,
that's some good stuff.
Right.
That's really fast. So, it was exciting.
Right.
Now, when you're sitting there and you're watching your son, what is the feeling like of my son's out there? We want for him to win. World records are things aside. Just going out there, watching him do his thing. How for you are you sitting down watching your son? Is it screaming at the top of your lungs, or is it you're sitting back and you're just saying, "Listen, I'm here to watch a special thing in which my son's doing"?
Oh no, we're a nervous wreck in the stands.
Really?
Oh yeah, I think we're more nervous than he is. We were thinking, we went to these Olympic trials. We're thinking, okay, we're going to be in the stands. It's going to be fun. We're going to enjoy it. And after the first round, I think our hearts just sort of dropped. We were like, oh my goodness.
Right.
So, we were just worried. And it wasn't until like after it was all over that you can truly like kind of sit there and enjoy it. Because so I mean that's how we are. I mean, we're excited when he wins, but I mean we're a nervous wreck from the start to the finish.
That's huge. I can only imagine how that is, just sitting there watching your child perform at the highest level at such a young age, man. Very, very few parents get to experience that.
Oh no, absolutely, because I had a father who was the guy shouting in the crowd, normally like a lot of other fathers do, shouting in the crowd and things like that. But
RJ? Had to get in trouble.
I wasn't playing football. I was playing basketball.
Or had to get crossed over. My bad.
I never got crossed over in my life. Okay. I don't know what this man's talking. But is there anything in which you're saying to your son, like just say on the drive over to a meet, is there anything in which you guys are talking about, discussing, or are you just allowing him to put the headphones in, be able to kind of find his own zen inside himself? Kind of what's the back and forth between you two as father and son when it comes to the day of, these events and these meets?
Can we hold that thought for me 1 second? We got to pay some bills. We'll be back with that answer. This segment was brought to you by Premier Physical Therapy. Your wellness journey begins at Premier PT. and rehabilitation. The gold standard in orthopedic and sports rehab for adults and adolescents alike. Dial 904-996-6922 or visit premierptjacks.com today for the premier experience. You're listening to The Amateur's Edge on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
1010XL keeps you company with sports takes and local talk.
Well, then that's exactly what we'll do.
Saturday from noon to 2.
Got any ideas who this mystery man might be?
It's Compton and Company.
What if word about this gets out?
On 1010XL, Jacksonville Sports Radio.
Unlock your true potential with the power of sports hypnosis, the power embraced by elite athletes worldwide. Experience the same techniques for peak performance that have propelled top professionals in the NFL, the NBA, MLB, and the PGA to new heights. So whether you're an aspiring athlete or a seasoned pro, HypnoFit tailors to all ages. Visit hypnofit.me today for more information to receive a free copy of AD's book, The Power of Sports Hypnosis. Step into greatness. Your journey to peak performance begins at hypnofit.me.
Good people drink good beer, and great people drink Mocama, a refined craft brewery out of Fernandina Beach, Florida. Mocama Beer Company brings sophisticated flagship beers, including Cosmico IPA and Dune Garden Lager, to the greater Jacksonville area. Whether you're hitting the water with friends or enjoying a backyard barbecue, Mocama has the perfect fare for your summer activities. Look for us wherever great beers are sold and find your Mocama.
Hey folks, Hicken here for Zero Res. You and I know Zero Res loves cleaning carpets in your home. But did you know Zero Res can also clean the carpets where you work? Take a look at the floors where you work, and if they need cleaning, suggest to the boss they call Zero Res. For the month of July, Zero Res offering 20% off all commercial carpet cleaning. Call Zero Res, and they'll come out and give you a free estimate on what it will take to get the job done. Zero Res, man, you spell it forward. Zero Res, you spell it backwards. Zero Res, it's the right way to clean.
Frank Frangie here for Stanley Pools. You know, pool design has come a long way, and if your pool is outdated, Stanley Pools specializes in bringing older pools up to date for the whole family to enjoy. That's why I did it a few years ago, and man, I love the way my pool looks now after we added travertine pavers and so much else. Stanley Pools has been serving our community since 1988, so call them today at 269-7277 or find them online at stanleypoolsfl.com. That's Stanley Pools, a family tradition of fine swimming pools.
Hey, Hicken here, or just call me Danny Dreamfinders. For a limited time, on select move-in ready homes, Dreamfinders Homes is offering an amazing 3.99% interest rate in year one of your mortgage. Now is your chance to lock down the rate. You heard me right. 3.99% offer in year one. Visit dreamfindershomes.com for sales event information and get in the game. Interest rate available on select move-in ready homes. Restrictions and limitations apply. Go to dreamfindershomes.com for more details.
It's the Sporting Jacks Soccer Hour. Join Cole Pepper, Mauricio Ruiz, and Becky Burley as they discuss the latest in the world of soccer, including Sporting Jacks bringing pro men's and women's soccer to Jacksonville. Mondays at 6 on 1010 a.m.
Navy Mutual was created by service members for service members, so we know what it means to serve. Our policies have no active duty service restrictions, so you can rest assured that you're covered no matter your duty station, home or abroad. To go even further, we promise that premiums will not be higher for those who serve in dangerous environments, including aviation, diving, or on deployments. Let us help you protect those you love the most. Learn more at NavyMutual.org.
Hicken here for Bow 9 Associates, where you'll find Jacksonville's most esteemed eye doctors at each of their locations. After being selected for one of the most competitive ophthalmology fellowships in the world, Dr. Frank Bowden is frequently called upon for his expert opinion. He is currently one of the few cornea and external disease specialists in the area and the founder of Bow 9. Visit Bow 9 Associates today and experience the difference. Bow 9 Associates, keeping the First Coast focused.
Step into the world of B3 Better Sports, where every athlete is an emerging champion. Tailor-made training programs based on science, crafted for your sport, your position, your ambition. Train smarter, not harder. Just 2 to 3 times a week is all it takes to unlock your true potential. Join the legacy of top athletes from Jacks, transforming from aspiring to inspiring, on and off the field. B3 Better isn't just about sports. It's a launch pad for life successes. We're more than a program. We're a community. Rise above, excel, become the athlete you're destined to be with B3 Better Sports Performance.
1010XL is presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville, the amateur's edge. Brought to you by B3 Better on 1010XL.
Rocking with some. Yeah, and we're back. Welcome back to the Amateur's Edge. This is your host, Jerrian Sanders, and RJ Saunders, filling in for Cleo and Jamal. RJ?
Sanders and Saunders.
Sound like a law firm.
It really does. It really does. We're going to get a patent on that. Trademark it. But before we got to break, something that I was asking, Mr. Miller was just the fact of, are there conversations in which you're having with your son before you go to a meet, or is it at a place now where you're saying, he knows what to do, he gets, his own zen, he gets inside his own mind where he's able to calm himself down, or he knows what he has to do and he understands that, or is there in ways the dynamic between the two of you where he is able to come to you and seek advice before he goes out to a big meet?
Well, I think, there's a ritual before every track meet. When we're driving there, we always pray.
Yeah.
Before, we'll be in the car, his mom and I, and his mom will lead off in a prayer. So we do that every track meet. Yeah. But I try to keep it simple with him. He works hard. Mm-hmm. Coach Ricky does a great job of preparing him for the meet. So I always tell him, I say, hey man, just go out there, do what you do, and it's in God's plan.
Right.
Whatever happened is going to happen. If it's His will, it'll be done. No one will be able to stop it. So just go out there and do what you do.
Now, I wanted to ask you this as well, and we were talking about it a little bit before the break, just the sacrifices in which you have to be able to make a deal with inside yourself to say, if this is what I want to do, there's going to be a delayed gratification with a lot. It may be hanging out with friends. It may be hanging out with other people going to parties and things like that. I'm not going to do that because I have, an overall goal of going to the Olympics, and I don't want anything getting in front of that. Just when did you allow yourself to say, I'm okay with making these sacrifices for the opportunity to reach the goals in which I want to?
Right. I say a lot of sacrifices. I can't remember how many times I had to cancel a hangout or say no to one of my friends and doing something because I knew what my goal was and I know where I wanted to take my sport to. But it was for most of the part, it was all worth it because I looked at it then. I was just thinking, I said, soon the thoughts from people will be, why don't you do this? Why don't you do that? Why don't you come out with this? To, I understand why you don't do that. You're so-and-so and so-and-so now.
Right.
So it just kind of just switching from that and knowing where, those sacrifices made will get you far because, I just had to put my practice, track meets, rest, eating, all that over all the other things in life for a good amount of time. And at first, looking at it, it's hard as as when I first started going into high school when you're 15,
right,
and you're having to tell your friends, no, you can't go do this because you have to go do an extra practice or you have to do a special block session or something in the store like that. But it's all gotten to me where the point is just, I can't take my foot off the pedal because I'm at the top right now, but there's so many people that are coming to take my spot, and I still have a lot more that I have to go accomplish. So I can't just sit back for 1 second and just go off the plan and go do this and that. I have to stick with it no matter what. So
Right. So let's talk a little bit about the snub. I'm calling it the snub, and I'm being a little biased, because I felt like, those guys who did get picked on the team, some of those guys are a little bit older, and I'm thinking in my head, well, why not bring a younger guy on so he can have some experience going to L.A. in 2028 or what have you. But how did you feel? First of all, take me to that time or that period where you were waiting. What was going on in your head?
Right. I said, while I was waiting, I was kind of just telling myself, I had done all I could at that point.
Right.
So I knew there wasn't any type of regret in my head. There weren't like, man, I wish I did this to get me in a better position. I knew that if I was in the top 3, there was going to be some form of politics or favoriting that was going to play because I'm an 18-year-old kid trying to take the pro spot.
Right.
So
right.
I knew there was gonna be some things to play into it, but I mean, I knew that if it was God's plan to make that team, that I was gonna be. They were gonna call me, and I was gonna be selected. But I had to get the opposite call. But I just knew. I said, well, that was in God's plan, and now I can use that and fuel me going into next year and all the way into the next Olympics. So
Right. And for me, honestly, trying to justify it in my head, I was thinking, well, because there's another phenom out there, Quincy Wilson, 16-year-old kid. So he got selected on the team. And so in my head, I'm thinking, well, maybe Team USA would, in their mind, was thinking they couldn't justify having 2 high schoolers on the team. And again, that was my reasoning or what have you in my head, but I wasn't too happy about it at all. So how'd you feel about it, Dad?
Oh no, we were ticked about it. I mean, the second we found out, I mean, his coach and I mean, we were ready to storm social media,
right.
scream injustice and everything. Right. But I was surprised that, believe it or not, I mean, Christian actually handled the situation a lot better than we did. I mean, he was more mature about it. I mean, I actually texted him the day after, about his post that he was putting online. Just congratulating all the other guys and things like that. The ones who actually made the team. So, I was proud of that.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, it's hard as a parent because we, we understand, we get it, we know the politics. You just hate to see your kid, have to deal with that at such an early age.
Right.
Because and it's probably a good thing because he's going to have to deal with it in life. I mean, this is not going to be the first time that he's going to have to deal with politics.
Right.
So, my message to him afterwards was like, you know what? Next time, just go ahead and win the whole thing. And that way they won't have a choice but to put you on the relay team.
Right.
That's how you deal with politics.
Right.
Now, is that the fire that's in you? Because that's something that I wanted to ask, and thank you for alluding to it. Although you're saying, listen, it was in God's plan, and there has to be some sort of fire in you where you're saying, as soon as I see him the next time, it's on site. Is that the thought process that's been going through your head now? You're saying, listen, when we go into this next stages of training, and next time I'm able to go to these trials, there's going to be smoke in the city.
yeah, because looking at the people that they took, let's say the other 3 besides the top 3 were Christian Coleman, Courtney Lindsey, Kyrie King, and so Christian Coleman, obviously, he needs to be on the team. He has one of the best starts in the world. So there's that. Courtney Lindsey, I did understand to a far point because he did do good. He has ran 9.8 before.
Right.
He's done his through the rounds. He won his prelim. He ran his semi, so he was going through good. Even though I beat him in the finals, but he was doing good throughout the round. So I understand that too. And then Kyrie King took me a little bit longer to get around that one, but after all I saw, just he just ran the relays. But so it was kind of just looking at all the points, and I was just like, well, if these are the people that they want to take, then that's on them. But I knew for me, I looked at it more as I came short, but it wasn't on me.
Right.
So I told myself in my head that I was never gonna let my chances of being on a world team be in someone else's hands besides mine or God's.
For sure. Did they give y'all a reason why, or they just said next time?
It was just they just told me it was just because of my world. I just didn't have any world experience.
Right.
Although there is a relay camp, but I mean they just said I didn't have any type of relay experience with pro athletes. So I guess they didn't want to take a chance.
And I think that's what sort of ticked me off because the excuse that when talking with his coach, the excuse that they gave him didn't line up with the reason why you selected the other kid.
Right.
And that's where I was ticked. Like I think if they would have both been left off, I would have been fine.
Okay.
But the fact that you tell him, we're not going to take you because you don't have the experience, and we want to keep a world record holding relay team together. Didn't line up with the selection process for the 4x4, and I understand the 4x4 is not the 4x1.
Right.
Okay, the speed of the handoff, is not the same. I
Right.
understand that, but you can have disqualifications in the 4x4 just like you can have it in the 4x1. And like Christian was alluding to, you have a month, and I think he demonstrated that he can make adjustments. You know, the fact that he had a bad start, you know, because he wasn't used to the gun,
Mm-hmm.
and then to come back in the next 2 rounds and do what he did and finish where he finished. I think he showed that, hey, you know, he has the maturity to learn.
Right.
So, you know, but it was fine. When you look at the selection process, like he mentioned with the other guy, Kyrie King, kind of, you know, being placed on the team, you know, you see, I mean, there were also some other guys that I think finished in the finals that probably should have been on, you know, besides him. So, you know, but it's at the end of the day, you know, it's politics. So.
Now, before, because we've talked a lot about it in a sense of it being a snub, and albeit it is true. Just tell me about your experience, just being there, that whole experience. Not too many guys are able to have that experience, especially at such a young age. Just the experience and kind of what you took away from it, whether, you know, unfortunately not being on the team, but yeah, your experience and the takeaways just from being in such a room with such, you know, greatness there, and, you know, in that position.
Right. This is something I was talking with Quincy actually before to me. I was telling him, like, you know, we're both going out there. We're both the youngest people to go into the field, and, you know, we're both getting counted out right now, so we have to go and perform. And so he went out there. He did his thing. He did something that I would have never expected a 16-year-old to do. I knew he could do something crazy out there. I just didn't expect it to happen in the first round, and then he backed it up 2 more times. So complete props to him. But for me, I'd say my experience out there, you know, the first round was definitely pretty rocky for me. Because, you know, when you're going out in the 100, you know, it's not like a 200, 400, 800, any of that, where your start, you can come back from a bad start.
Right.
You can't come back from a bad start in the 100. So I'm going out there. I'm trying to, you know, I'm looking around the crowd, looking at the people, looking at all the, you know, projections and the boards all going Olympic trials 2024, Paris, all this. And so I start to become an 18-year-old a little bit. And so I'm sitting there, I'm kind of just getting caught in the moment, and then I forget that, you know, when you get to that type of stage, you know, that the gun that they shoot off, it's not a regular high school gun. It's almost like an automatic gun. So my head, I hear that sound, I just go, what was that?
Right.
And then I see the guy next to me, he shoots out of the block. So I'm like, oh, that was the gun. So then I'm getting out, I get back into 5th place. And so I'm just walking off, I'm looking at time, I'm like, man, that was definitely not how I wanted that first round to go.
Right.
So I'm looking at it, and, you know, that entire day, you know, I got on Instagram probably one time, reposted something on my story, just saying that, you know, that wasn't the round I wanted, but I'm gonna see y'all tomorrow. And then I just went off of Instagram for the rest of the day, 'cause I knew the first things I was gonna see was I told you guys this, I told you guys that. So I just stayed off of social media for that night and came back the next day. And, you know, I was on the ride there, I was just telling myself that, you know, God brought you to this point, and even though you had one of the worst starts you've ever had, He got you to the semis.
Right.
So I knew that my story wasn't finished at that trial, so I had to go out and execute like I knew I could. So going into, you know, my warm-ups and going into the semis, I was locked in completely. I was blocking out all the extra noise, blocking out whoever I was racing against, and it didn't really matter who was on my left, who was on my right. I was gonna go out there and just run like how I knew I could. So semis, go out, come in 3rd, around 994, and that gets me into the finals. And then I'm going to the finals, and it's almost the same thing. I'm just locked in through it all, and it's kind of a little bit more of an unreal experience when you're back in the warm-up area and you're sitting and you look to your left, you have Noah Lyles sitting there. You look to your right, you have Christian Coleman. In front of you, sitting down, is Fred Curley. You know, you have Kenny on the other side. So you're looking at them all. You see them all as world champions, Olympic medalists. And so, you know, you're looking at it as an 18-year-old kid, and you're about to go head-to-head with the world's best. So that can definitely start to get in your head. But I just reminded myself, you know, God has me out there for a reason. So I get on the line, and I'm just waiting for the gun to go off. It goes off. I get out well. I actually looked at a side video. I think I got out. I was either second, third, or really like like Christian Coleman got out, I was either right on his tail, tied with him, or a little bit behind him. And then Courtney Lindsey was out with us too. So us three got out well, and I was kind of just held my top end for a good bit. Kenny, Noah, and Fred, how their top end goes.
Right.
So they fly by, and I'm kind of staying with them a little bit. And so we get to the line, and I come in fifth. And besides the relays, besides all that, I just looked at it and said, I just rewrote history.
You did.
As an 18-year-old.
You did, and that's huge, man. And we getting ready to wrap it up, man. We're wishing you the best of luck at the University of Georgia. I'm a big dog fan, so I was ecstatic when you decided to go there, man. And just like your father, man, I was extremely proud of the way you responded to, the adversity of not getting chosen to the team. Having that type of mindset, my man, is going to take you so far in life, man. So keep doing what you're doing, man. We're going to be rooting for you back here. We're proud of you, man, and do your thing, man.
Thank you, guys.
All right, thanks for coming on, fellas.
Thank you.
You're listening to the Amateur's Edge on 1010 XL, 92.5 FM.